now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips@caymanmarlroad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
All right, good evening, folks. How are you guys doing? It is Thursday evening, 7:04 p.m., depending on which clock you're looking at. I hope everyone had a fantastic day. Today, of course, is Thursday. I see my camera's a little bit off. There we go. I like to make sure you guys can see that beautiful Cayman Islands map in the background, which I absolutely love. So how are you guys doing? Tell me about your day. What kind of day did you guys have? It was busy for me. I had a couple meetings, and honestly, I never went to town today. Like, I got as far as Prospect area, had to go and link up with a few people, and then that was it. But tomorrow, I got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow, folks. I've got physio in the morning. We're doing some acupuncture. Yay! Hoping that that's going to help my knee out quite a bit. And then we also have a couple appointments. I've got some documents that are due for court tomorrow, so I'm going to be busy into the night working on all of those. So good evening to Natalie. How are you, my love? Good evening to Janet. So good to see you guys. As you know, I stopped by Chef John's a little bit earlier this evening to kind of check out what they had on tap there. And I wanted to make sure that I gave them a little bit of local support, because I know that sometimes we forget about the different venues that we can get good Caymanian food. And of course, you know, ribs and corn on the cob, a little potato salad on the side. Every once in a while, you just can't beat that for late lunch or dinner. So that's what we're going to have tonight. I'm just going to have one. They always give you lots of ribs. I find that for us, we have a household of a couple people. We can actually just buy one dinner and share it, because, you know, a 4-year-old doesn't really eat that much. And we're still full and good to go. So yeah, check out Chef John's. Always, you know, a plate full of good food. And someone mentioned that, oh yeah, I remember when the pricing was like $10 or whatever. Listen, everything has gone up. The price of living has gone up. The price of doing business has definitely gone up. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, I don't know that much has stayed the same in terms of pricing. Grocery store prices go up, and you've got to pass the cost of that, I guess, along to everybody. So Ronika, thank you for joining us as well. We've got the beautiful Natalie and Miss Janet. Tracy says it's raining all day where I am. Even now, it's still raining. Oh, man. Tracy, you are getting it there in Jamaica. So, yeah, today was a little bit, we had some drizzle off and on here. No heavy downpour, but more of like overcast and a little bit of drizzle. And that was it, really. Wasn't, at least where I was, it wasn't any incredible downpour or anything. Miss Louis Fay is joining us. Good evening to you, my dear. Crystal is also here for it. Oh, good question, Crystal. She wants to know if anyone is going to be watching the presidential debate tonight. This is the final of the 3, which they only had 2 really, but this is the final presidential debate. So, yes, we shall see how that goes. I think I might tune in tonight. I don't normally watch because I can't take the craziness that Trump brings to the arena. But maybe tonight I'll watch, because remember now, for the first time ever in presidential debate history, they're actually going to have a buzzer and the ability to mute people, all because of Trump. Like, this dude has changed the system in so many ways, and his unruliness has led the presidential debate committee to decide that they're not going to have his antics. So they will have the button where they can just, and his lips will still be flapping like a fish, but nobody won't be hearing anything. Lizette, good evening to you, my dear. She says, good evening without the MS. What does that mean? You got to fill me in on what that means. I'm missing a joke. Catherine is here for it, tuning in from the US of A. Evelyn, good evening. Oh, Evelyn looks like she's had a rough day. She's tired. Beverly tuned in from Miami. I love my international crew. Thank you guys so much. Evelyn is going to be watching. Sharon says, good evening, Sandra. Pray that you had a good day and that your night will be even better. Well, I did have a pretty good day. Nothing terribly exciting went on, of course. Working on a few things for you, so let me update you on some of those. And I'm curious to see how the mute button is going to work, and if that is that make the process any more civilized than the first debate, because the second one is canceled because he refused to do a virtual debate. So I'm interested to see how well that will work. So listen, Joy is watching us from Richmond, Texas, and Catherine is sending some love. She says, we love you, Sandy, stateside. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really, really do appreciate that. And you know what? The love has been demonstrated this week because so many of you have stepped up to the plate. As you know, coming up on November the 6th, I actually have my sentencing hearing in the Matthew Leslie harassment case, right? And many of you have stepped up to the plate and supplied reference letters. I'm happy to say that, in fact, by my count, we probably have over 60 reference letters. And I did say over 60. So thank you all so much. I mean, this is amazing. I don't know if anybody's ever had 60 reference letters submitted to the courts before, but that's what we've got. So I really appreciate that. I mean, that's an amazing show of support for this platform, and certainly for me as well. And I really feel touched by that, and I appreciate it so much. And I know that some are still trickling in. So, I can't even begin to tell you the content of what is in some of those, maybe after the sentencing here, because every single time I get on here and talk about the trial, the prosecution seems to make that an issue. And they seem to say that, I'm not adhering to my bail conditions. So probably the least I say at this point, the better. But I just wanted to say thank you. And I will share it after the fact, because I think they've just been amazing. So Sharon, thank you so much. And Lizette, because I call you Miss Sandra. Oh, okay, no problem. Yes, not a problem. And Catherine, thank you so much. The support has been overwhelming, and it has been demonstrated beyond anything that I could have certainly hoped for. So let us discuss a few things that happened in the news today. So the first thing that was very, very interesting is, since last week, a lot of persons who were on the list and had been approved for the tourism stipends. Remember, these are displaced workers who, because tourism has essentially been shut down, were having to get some assistance from government. So government had promised $1,000 a month. Initially, they did it for 3 months, which would be June, July, and August. And then last month, they said that they would extend it. Was it June, July, August? No, I think it was July, August, September. And then they said they would do October, November, and December. So they would do it through to the end of the year. And they actually did, for a very brief period of time open up or reopen the application process. And I know that despite that, some of you still missed it. I was surprised that you missed it, folks. You got to really pay attention to these deadlines because listen, right now, if you were a hotel worker, a taxi driver, whatever, $1,000 a month can help. You know, it might not pay all of your bills, but it could really keep you afloat. And I know that people were relying on this to pay rent, help with insurance costs for vehicles. So it was a good initiative and people really have relied on it, I must tell you. And unfortunately, last month, there seemed to have been a delay of a couple of days of people getting their money. And now this month, there has been a significant delay. And from last week, people were messaging, hey, Sandy, do you know what's going on? And we've been wondering what was going on. And had heard a couple stories. And so today we put this story up. And sure enough, what we heard, which was that it had to be taken to cabinet, basically finance committee to get approved, is exactly what was going on. So it will not go before cabinet until next week, which means that by the time it's approved and then the accounting team in government, finance, whatever they call them, gets all the paperwork done to make their distributions, you're probably looking at the beginning of next month before you get the money. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they're going to add another month on? Because basically October is almost done. You've got another week in October, folks. So we don't have any answers yet in terms of how they will handle that. I'm a bit surprised that they approved it. And then what happened? Was there not a finance committee meeting since last month when they said that this would happen? Could they not have called, a finance committee meeting? I don't really know all of the details. I just know that people were a bit surprised and to find out that this exactly is what was happening. And so the government officials have contacted us to say that, this is the reason that there's a delay. So some people said they had bills that were due and all these other concerns, and they are not particularly happy with what has transpired. But all I can tell you is just hang in there, talk to your landlords, try to explain to them what the situation is and what's going on. And hopefully they will be amenable and open to just waiting on you to get your funds, because we're all going through like super tough times right now. And I actually had a single mother who was looking for, in case any of you know about any available housing, but she was actually looking for it's a family of 6, so 2 adults, a mother and father, and 4 kids. So she is looking for accommodations for $1,500 a month, which I know is kind of tight because, that's at least a couple bedrooms there for the kids and parents, whatever, to share. But if you know of any accommodations in that price range, that's their budget and what they can afford. Both parents are employed. They're asking if you could, I guess just through me, let them know if you're aware of anything that's available, because unfortunately they have to move out from where they are. So, so Johan says, if you're given a custodial sentence, whilst multiple elected officials that have been before the courts have not been given the same ruling or sanction for their actions before the courts or judges, it is proof that in the eyes of the system, you are public enemy number 1. Well, we will certainly see. I do think it's going to be interesting because, Johan, we are very much aware, you and I are very much aware, and the public is aware that there are several public officials who have gone before the courts, both former and current politicians, who actually have never even had anything recorded on their record. So we'll see. I mean, one difference for sure is I have a DPP representative who is like a pit bull. I mean, she is unbelievable in the things that she says. And like I said, I don't want her to be trying to come after me again. So after the hearing, I'm going to share with you guys some of the tactics that she's used, which are just, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And I'm the one who's being called a liar in court. We'll discuss it because I think you guys will find it beyond interesting how people can be dishonest. But we'll get into the details. Don't worry. So yes, Johan, it will be interesting to see. And I think a lot of you will be interested to see exactly what's going on. So I need to do my submissions for tomorrow. So any late people, Johan, with their letters, get them in tonight so that I can put my submissions in as quickly as possible. And so the one story then about the stipend being delayed was one that was of great public interest today. The other one is some people, I don't like to leave out the Brackers because, of course, they are part of the Cayman Islands. We are one of three countries. We're one of three islands. And so I do wholeheartedly appreciate that your voices need to be represented as well. And so I just want to let you guys know that any information you send us from the sister islands, we do try to act on it as quickly as we possibly can. And there was a flight this evening going to the BRAC that was delayed by about 2.5 hours because the Honduras flight was likewise delayed. So the person from the BRAC just basically said, listen, they were not too keen on it, that they had a delay, because what I understood was happening apparently is the perishable goods that were on that flight, on the Honduras flight, they were waiting on those because some of those goods then needed to go to Cayman BRAC because there's a few like Spanish stores in the BRAC. There's a few stores that carry some Spanish goods and they were waiting on those to come in. So, despite COVID, there are still travel woes. What the Brackers were sharing that they were most concerned about is not really so much the delay per se, but how they're being treated at the airport. So, everything at the airport right now is actually shut down. So none of the shops, and this is interesting because domestic travel to and from the sister islands has been amazing. I was telling you guys, I think it was last week, that I ran into a pilot and he's like, he's been so busy. And I'm thinking, busy doing what? And he said, no, seriously, they've had to put on extra flights to accommodate people traveling back and forth from the sister islands. So a lot of people are taking staycations. And then apparently Cayman Brackers, I think, are just traveling more than they ordinarily would. So there's a lot of people going in both directions. And, I thought that was super interesting. And so they're upwards of sometimes 4 jets a day. And this person was saying it's unfortunate that the stores at the airport will only open for international flights, but don't think that if they opened for the BRAC flights that they might actually get some business. Interesting indeed. I don't know that I can understand the logic, but even the little store there that they sell like little coffee and patties and whatever, I would open if I were them, because making some money is better than none is what I would think. But I guess they can't be bothered with, like I said, the BRAC traffic. So they kind of feel like, the bastard stepchild, which I know a lot of times they do feel that way. And then they said that someone had brought out some water and put on the counter, but it wasn't actually offered to them. So they weren't sure if they were supposed to just take it. Now, my airport source said that the water was actually for when they're getting in the plane, they give them water. But remember now, they don't have anything open at the airport. So when there's a delay of like 3.5 hours that they've been sitting there for, maybe giving them a little bit of water isn't such a bad thing. And then bathrooms, didn't have paper towels and all these kind of really easy fixes. So I just want to encourage, I know the CIAA has gotten a lot of pats on the back, and they have been recognized for doing such a great job, but let's continue to maintain a decent standard of customer service, even if it's a domestic flights. Caymankind to our own, not just the foreigners. You know what I'm saying? Caymankind just isn't a tourist message. It should be a way of being that you operate with all people. Caymanians, foreigners, doesn't matter. Black, white, it really should not matter. So speaking of that, Johan says there should be one standard of applied justice and rulings for all. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Hello, Miss Lorna. Look at the beautiful Miss Lorna tuned in this evening. It's so good to see you. Miss Lorna is our friend from Jamaica. You guys might remember Miss Lorna. She had a hot story the other day that she was sharing with us. Woo! Miss Lorna, people still talking about that episode. Those 2 episodes, actually, my dear. Hot stuff is all I can say, but thank you so much for tuning in. We love your support on our platform. Now, Cayman Mall Road has some good news. Guess what? We're about to launch a new feature. You're not going to believe this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this a trivia question for the night because I still need to get rid of a bunch of gift certificates, courtesy of our friends over at Popeyes and Burger King. So you can pick the gift certificate of your choice if you can figure out what new feature we are launching or actually have launched on the website. And we're about to put up the story any minute now to say that this feature has been launched. So I'll give you guys about a good 10 minutes with some other things about what website feature has launched that I think is a wonderful feature and that a lot of people will actually utilize. I think a lot of people use it. Okay, so let me see what else is going on. I've been getting some of your messages. So one person messaged today about people, a particular restaurant, a high-end restaurant, by the way, at one of the exclusive locales is breaching COVID emergency laws. They're not respecting the use of masks for employees and guests. Okay. And that they had over 500 people there between guests and staff employees on the weekend. And they're also breaking other liquor licensing laws because they have a DJ on duty and they have a disco brunch party where many people are intoxicated and leave to drive in a very bad status. So they also break the law. They're giving the responsibility to the license holders. All right, we shall look into that to see what we can find out. In terms of COVID news, this is, we keep saying that unfortunately the travelers are bringing the coronavirus into our country, and this remains very much the case. And so we have 2 more cases of the coronavirus. No bueno. Travelers and yes, so this was since yesterday, 137 new COVID tests and 2 positives who are asymptomatic, who are travelers, and they're going to remain in isolation until they have recovered. So remember now, if they test positive whilst in isolation, they will be given, they have to stay, I think, an additional 10 days until they are able to pass a negative test. So they're going to continue to stay in isolation. Now, they don't specify if those individuals are in home isolation or if they're actually in in a government facility. So we shall keep an eye on that and see what the situation is. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much to the Cayman Islands government for that additional information. And again, travelers are posing a risk, folks. I don't know how else to break it down to you, but it is what it is, and it means that we're going to have to keep a keen eye on that situation. We can't just fling open the borders. So, hello, Miss Evelyn, are you taking a guess at what the new feature is? Hi, Doreen. Any guesses? You guys don't seem to be able to even guess what it is. Come on now. I know you guys can guess this. Let me just check and see what other messages are coming through. So the Department of Environmental Health is urging the community to safely dispose of batteries that have reached their end of life. And it's talking about how batteries can damage the environment, cause harm to people, and cause fires as well. I don't know exactly what kind of batteries they're referring to. Are these car batteries or just like regular AA batteries, AAA batteries? They don't actually say, and that might have been useful. And we'll put this article up here in a little bit, but it talks about the metals that are in batteries being toxic to humans and environmental health. And so using the many drop-off points apparently for battery recycling across the island is a good idea. I did not even know, I'll be quite honest with you, that we had a battery recycling location. So where are they? This article doesn't say. Okay, so it refers you to the website. It would have been nice if it just said it in the email. So we'll look at the website and maybe put it in the article that we do. We'll give you a little bit more information. And then they say all hazardous materials should be brought to the Georgetown landfill for proper processing. Now, what about those of us who don't go to the landfill? I mean, I'm just saying. I know I'm not going to drive up to the landfill, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are not going to drive up to the landfill either. I don't even know how to get to the landfill, other than if I'm on the highway and I see it right there, and I'm not going to throw anything across the fence, obviously. I'm pretty sure that that would be illegal. All right, so remember this morning, we were asking about we had a bunch of questions about the vaccine trial that was approved and how the approval process would have occurred with the Health Commission. And so we received an email from government, listen to this now, at 4:53 saying that this person in government, you're interested in more details on the approval of the above. Okay. I can tell you that there's something in the pipeline, which hopefully will be out no later than early tomorrow morning. Once that's published, you can let us know if you have any follow-up questions. Okay, then. How do you give approval for this and not think that the public is going to have questions and that we should have something available? Work with me here, government. I'm trying to be supportive of you, but this just doesn't make any sense. So Melinda shares that 9-volt batteries can cause fires when storing with other batteries. It has been suggested to place tape over the connectors to avoid this. Really? Huh, you learn something every day. The way 9-volt batteries are stored is an important part of fire prevention. Remember, the reason that a 9-volt can create a fire hazard is that unlike other batteries, the positive and negative posts are on the top of the battery. If the battery comes in contact with a metal object, it can spark. If there's fuel present, a fire can start. What? Melinda, you are one smart cookie. Well, I tell you what, I never knew that. And now that I know that, I'm going to have a look at how I am storing my 9-volt batteries. I do have a little battery container thing that kind of you put in like the AAA in one area, the AA. So hopefully they know not to have the 9-volt too close to the other ones. I've never even thought about it. So we'll see. All right, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna look into that. But thank you very much for that tidbit of information. That's what I love about this format. So many of you are willing to share the knowledge and information that you have, and that is what I think will make us all better at the end of the day, right? Just sharing information with each other. So let me see what else we've got going on here. You know this. I'm gonna have a look at this later. But you know this woman Maxwell. I think her first name is Ghislaine or something Maxwell. She's a longtime associate of deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, and apparently has a lot of information on him. And I guess maybe she kept a little black book. I don't know, but there was a lot of they finally unsealed her deposition today. And so apparently in that deposition, there's information that is super, super interesting is what I'm hearing. We'll see how much of that we can get our hands on and perhaps do a story on it. Always very interesting, I find, when things like this come up in terms of information. And of course, child molesters, unfortunately, run the gamut. They're all over the place. Here in the Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, and of course, all over every country in the world. So Faith Hospital had an electrical power interruption today to the outpatient services area. My apologies. There will be an interruption of electrical power on Saturday, October the 24th, to facilitate some urgent repair work on the emergency generated services that area. So they're going to have to shut down power of all electrical power supply. And patients and visitors can expect that shutdown to happen from 10 a.m. in the morning on Saturday until 8 p.m. So pretty much all day on Saturday. So if you are planning to go to Faith Hospital on Saturday, by all means, please make a notation and address that. Now, one question that we continually get, and we submitted the question today. I keep telling you guys, we'll submit the questions and hopefully government will respond. So we do have one question answered, and that is about people being allowed exemptions to quarantine. So I keep getting these questions. Someone sent me, let me tell you what their question was a couple of days ago. They said, and I'll respond to them and let them know that nobody will tell you, but surprisingly, high GB, I'm guessing that's Great Britain, government officials are being exempted from quarantine. I'm thinking, okay, do we have any evidence of this? Do we have any proof of this? And they're like, oh, ask the government. Well, if the government was trying to hide something, asking them isn't exactly going to help. So you either have evidence of it, you have proof of it, or then it just becomes one of those things that is a rumor. And government will obviously say it's a fake rumor, and we can't say otherwise because we have no evidence to say otherwise. So we submitted the question, and this is the official response that we've gotten, that no one is exempted from quarantine except in very rare circumstances, such as an emergency engineer, and then under very strict conditions. The example that he gave was utilities engineers who come to service essential equipment and maintain our supply. The utilities companies cooperate fully with all the requirements set out by public health, so the engineers interact minimally and are kept in isolation. They also have PCR tests done before they arrive, on arrival, and before departing. And I was asking for a number of how many, and I've not gotten an exact number. All I got was Dr. Lee has noted that there have been less than a handful of such instances. Why couldn't I just get an exact number? If it's less than a handful, then that means you can count them, right? You can tell me 3, 4, 5, anything. How do you define less than a handful? We did ask for an exact number. Let's ask again. I don't know why people just don't answer questions directly. This reminds me of when I was in law school. You know, they always used to say, you will not get the best mark if you do not answer the question. Just answer the question. Pageant queens, just answer the question. Politicians, just answer the questions. She wants to know, she's trying to guess at the new feature. She wants to know if it has anything to do with exercise and eating. No, it actually doesn't, but not a bad guess, but it doesn't. So keep at it. Let's see if anybody can guess this one. This seems like a hard question. So listen, politically, there were fireworks today in the Legislative Assembly, in case you missed it. Chris Saunders submitted a proposal to have a special committee, a select committee set up to start reviewing some of the possible solutions to the to look at the whole pension situation, which remains a mess. Remember, during COVID, they brought the pension companies before the Public Accounts Committee. You guys will remember that because we had Mr. Brett Hill, who got up from Fidelity and basically said some off-the-chain crazy stuff about people trying to get access to their pension money because you guys are going to be going out buying big screen TVs. Well, nobody around here bought a TV, so I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know who got access to COVID money to buy a big screen TV, but he kind of insulted us in more ways than one during his appearance before the Public Accounts Committee. And then he said, it doesn't work, pensions don't work. He has the biggest pension fund in Fidelity, over $500,000 in pension, and he was going to have some drinks with the premier and try to get it all worked out and all sorted out. So Chris Saunders, the representative of one of the representatives of Bodtown West, East, I never can remember, one or the other, put a proposal forward, a motion in the Legislative Assembly to say, you know what? Let's start the process from now of putting together a select committee that can start to get some questions answered. And unfortunately, this became very politicized in the LA today. The premier stood up and did this impassioned speech about, that Mr. Saunders was suggesting that companies increase payments into the pension fund, which actually Mr. Saunders said that's not what he was suggesting. So my dears, all I can tell you is Chris Saunders spoke on it. The leader of the opposition, Arden McLean, spoke on it. And those are two that I caught part of their speeches, and it was fire. Okay. So I think we'll invite Mr. Saunders. I don't think Chris has been on our show ever. So let's invite him in the morning and see what he has to say for himself and if he can explain exactly what went down. Because all I was saying was, pew, 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 pew. This is what I need. Like fireworks all over the place. It was crazy. And they were getting all up in arms about it. And so Chris just basically said, and Arden just basically said, this is political posturing. You're starting your campaign early. That's all this is, because you need money from some of these people to run your campaign. And at the end of the day, shots were fired from both sides. And then Mr. Arden McLean talked about, how irresponsible the premier was in terms of, not supporting new and upcoming members of the Legislative Assembly who are bringing initiatives forward, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, it got voted down. The vote was 9 no's, 9 no's, 5 absent and 4 in favor of. So of course the 4 that were in favor of would have been the opposition members. So that was kind of crazy. Tracy says less than a handful is 2.5. That's so funny. Well, I mean, I don't know what he means by less than a handful, but depends on how big your hands are. Less than a handful for me might be, 2. But if he's got big hands, so that's why I want to be very precise. I want to know exactly how many is less than a handful. To me, those are the types of figures, if they're so small, that you should be able to roll off your tongue. Should be very easy to actually identify specifics. That's what we want. We want specific information. When people start to say things like less than a handful, I'm just like, irks. Tell me again. What does that even mean? Leave no room for misinformation. You guys are always talking about fake news. You don't want fake news out there. So leave no room for ambiguity or misunderstanding. Just be specific. 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, whatever. Right? That's how you respond to a question to shut down any potential rumors. Makes perfect sense to me, doesn't it? All right, good people. Let me just see what else is shaking in and about the place. Let me just have a quick look at international news. Anything else of interest happen in the Cayman Islands? I see no one has successfully guessed what feature we've added to the website. So let me just see what else is going on. There's a little bit of stuff in Caribbean news today. Craziness. Did you guys hear that Butterfield Bank and NCB were named some of the world's safest banks according to a global finance publication? So Jamaica National Commercial Bank, NCB, and the Bank of Butterfield were both named, they made a list of the world's safest financial institutions. So this is the 29th annual World's Safest Banks ranking, which was released on Monday and posted on the Global Finance website. And yes, Butterfield got the award for Best Bank in Bermuda. NCB was awarded Best Bank in Jamaica. And the managing director of Bermuda and International Wealth at the Bank of Butterfield said that in a virtual acceptance message that he was particularly pleased that his institution had succeeded in grabbing that award for the 6th time in a row. Wow. So there you go, Butterfield. Pat yourselves on the back there. Just trying to see what else is going on in the news. So don't forget, folks, that we do have a calendar feature on our website. That's not what that doesn't answer the question, by the way. But we have added a calendar feature recently. So if you have any events, nonprofit events that are coming up, by all means, make sure that you get in on the calendar so that your events can be publicized. And we do share them on our other social media platforms and stuff as well. So the government apparently is considering increasing flights. I can't even believe this. This is so crazy. From the UK. So they're considering allowing British Airways for the upcoming holiday season to increase the frequency of flights, which to me makes absolutely no sense, given that the UK is in a super lockdown right now because their numbers have exploded and they went into lockdown last week. So we're increasing flights because of what? People want to come home for Christmas and you're going to stay in isolation for 2 weeks. Stay put where you're at for Christmas, folks. Enjoy Christmas in the beautiful UK where you can have maybe some snow and some nice cold weather. Don't come back home for Christmas. Just stay put. As of Wednesday, 738 people are in quarantine at government facilities or home isolation. By the way, the government has said that they do not have any more like bracelets and whatever to accommodate any more people coming in for this month. So where are they going to get it for December? They're going to do a rush order. I'm just wondering. Not quite sure how that's going to work. Can anybody enlighten me? But I would say let them stay right where they are. Hello, Christine. Good evening, Nancy. Crystal, is anyone receiving frequent charges on their Butterfield account? Frequent charges for what? I'm not sure, but I really haven't heard any complaints about Butterfield. We do know that earlier in the week, we had Scotiabank, I think it was Monday. Some people discovered that over the weekend, there were a number of charges on their credit card by some company, looks like some online organization, was trying some funny business and charging upwards of $1,000 on people's debit cards. And so the bank, I guess, was dealing with that. But I haven't really heard anything about Butterfield Bank, to be honest. Carol is saying, no, that's ridiculous. And I agree that that's ridiculous. Nancy agrees. We don't need any more yet. Kizzy, good evening to you, my dear. Yeah, let's just take it easy, folks. I mean, seriously, that's enough people here right now. So, yeah, I would not be supportive of that. So what else is going on? Oh, Tropical Storm Epsilon, by the way. There was a warning a couple of days ago issued for Bermuda tropical storm warning, but it seems like it's going to kind of veer that away. So it's now a Category 1 hurricane. It does not look like it's going to really pose any serious issues to land or any islands. So that's good news. I think a lot of people are certainly looking forward to that. And, so far, the rest of the tropics remain relatively quiet. So we'll see if that continues. So we have a couple announcements, like there's the Proud of Them honorees. We're going to put that up. Don't forget to get your nominations in for next year's Heroes Day. The theme this year is the seafaring history. So I would think that there'd be a lot of people who should be eligible for that. Domestic violence. So tomorrow is going to be the Silent Witness March. And remember, they do that every year. It is a tribute to women who have lost their lives as a result of domestic violence. So 1 in 4 women and 1 in 4 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. And of course, it's really underreported. It's almost like sexual abuse and rape and molestation. Tends to be extremely underreported because domestic violence is, something that we don't always want to talk about. So domestic violence victims often suffer in silence. And in many cases, they do so until, unfortunately, there are fatal consequences. So tomorrow will be the annual BPW Silent Witness March. And of course, there will be some restrictions, but the march is going to start from the Government Administration Building, go past the police station, and then eventually go to the courthouse, where some of the key stakeholders will then give a little bit of comments on domestic violence. So if you're interested, please come out. They are collaborating in conjunction with the Gender Affairs Unit of CIG, the Family Resource Center, Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and the Department of Counseling Services and Colors Cayman. So I'm just trying to see what time the march starts, actually. Does it actually say? I don't see a time on this, so let me see if I can find out, because that's strange. I'm like reading, am I missing it? No, I don't see it. All right, let me ask. And if we can, we will bring you that event live. Yes? Awesome. We love to bring you live events, folks, because, a lot of you recognize that we no longer have Radio Cayman. Okay, so the event is at 3:30 tomorrow. So, oh man, I had another event booked for 3:30, but you know what? I am going to work around my other event. So let me quickly, we're going to add this to our calendar. It's kind of last minute though. Like, I don't know why we're just finding out about this, but I'm going to send this off to the young lady who does her events, have her add it to the event calendar, and we will certainly be there to support. So I will reschedule my other event just to be there because I think this is an extremely important silent witness. Struggling to schedule. So I'm going to try to reschedule. What's going on tonight? Let me see some of your comments. Oh, Crystal says compliance fees, government stamp duty fees, etc. I don't know. I mean, I don't bank with Butterfield. So I'm not really sure. We can see if we can reach out to them for any information. Kizzy says it seems like we don't have enough cases of coronavirus. That's why they want to open it up. Girl, maybe they're trying to tell us to all jump on the trials for the COVID vaccine. Honestly, I think the people coming in are the ideal ones. So since they're the ones testing positive, why not? Hi, Ingrid. No worries. We're about to wrap things up here, though. Remember, we only go for an hour when we do the evening shows. Hello, beautiful Anne-Marie. How are you? Crystal is out. Have a good night. She's going to heat up her popcorn. The debate starts in less than 10 minutes. You go, girl. Hello, Morna. No problem. She says, I'm very late, but I can play catch up. I can play back and catch up. Yes, you can do that. Into Crystal's point, I want everyone to go and watch the presidential debate because I will certainly, I think tonight, I haven't watched any of them, to be honest. I've really been trying to stay away from the madness, but you know what? I think I will go and watch it after all. So I will go and watch it. So let me go cue it up. Yes. So Trump, somebody just sent me another one of Trump's lies. Oh, I can't even take it, folks. I can't take it. Like, I'm just like, you have to check out at some point out of American politics. It's just next level crazy. Anyway, we think that we may have reunited the parrot that was missing last night. Let me tell you in a second where the debate is, honey. I've actually got the little thing here. We're not 100% sure because this parrot apparently has full wings. So it went missing in West Bay, but there was a parrot found in Bodden Town. But I guess a parrot could fly that distance. I don't know. So the family is gone for the parrot. They'll probably figure out in a couple of days if it's really their parrot. But they said that it was missing its tail, which means that it might have had a little accident, possibly, since it left home. Oh, bueno. So the presidential debate, let me just give you some information on this quickly. We did have this up. Let me just see here. It is this evening, and I think it's on most, you know what, most channels are going to carry it. Like, honestly, most channels are going to carry it. So CNN, of course, will have it. I'm sure Fox News will have it. So this is CNN's coverage. Most news channels will have it, folks. Believe me when I tell you. It's probably going to be streaming on YouTube. You can watch it on CNBC, ABC, everybody. Everyone is going to have it. Even if you're in the UK, anywhere in the world, you can pretty much catch it. Here are some options. Give me one. We'll have this available. Let Let me see here. So where to watch it? For some reason, CNET's website is having a little bit of an issue. I'm not sure what that's all about. But let me see if I can quickly tell you. All right, so CNN, Fox, every place. MSNBC, ABC, I think it's literally everywhere. Any and everywhere. You can definitely see it. There's a long list of channels. Yep, so if you're interested, get your popcorn. I think what we actually need is not popcorn, but probably a couple of shots of some hard, cold liquor if you drink, to listen to the hot mess that we would all be watching. So just FYI, the presidential debate is going to happen at the Belmont University in Nashville. Yay. So the president arrived 12 minutes ago. It says Donald's in the house. So he's arrived, and what are the polls saying? Ahead at about 51%, while Trump is at 43%. System is blows my mind. So that's not who's actually going to win necessarily. So it's all about getting the right votes in the right areas. So a landmark in one state could considerably change the results. So, sorry, we'll see. And I think most people already have their minds made up. The debates don't really change much of anything. So tonight's host will actually be a woman. Her name is Kristen Welker. She's an NBC, I guess, reporter. And yes, last time it was Fox's Chris Wallace. And she's already been attacked by Trump, apparently, and she hasn't even done anything yet. So we'll see. So he has said about her, she's always been terrible and unfair, just like most of the fake news reporters. That's what he tweeted on Saturday. So it looks like that buzzer, that mute button, which is the first time ever that it's being used, is definitely going to be a good thing for tonight. 90-minute debate, no commercial breaks, divided into 6 15-minute segments. So let's go and watch it, folks. Have a beautiful evening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.